Yo, welcome to Living Good with Dominic Malone. Your life can go from just okay to life is good. Stay and you'll be empowered to live a fruitful life, one that's peaceful, joyful, and fulfilling. I'm excited to have y'all here for episode 2. Let's get right into it, y'all. Let me call this divine hotline again. Yo, what's good, big homie? How you doing? Yeah, okay, all good. So what do the people need to hear about today? How to spring out of a bad situation. Oh, yeah, I got it. Yeah, the downloads is coming. They here, for sure. Y'all heard it. We talking about how to spring out of a bad situation. So, I've been in a couple of bad situations. It's not too long ago. Well, we gonna hop into it, but oh man, I can remember a couple. Dang, how real do I want to be with y'all? We know what we gonna get into it, and then I'm gonna tell you about these stories. All right. Just like your body is a sum total of all the food that you eat, if it's nutritious, if it's not, your life is the exact same way. Oh, that's good. That's good. So put it like this, right? If you eat cookies, crackers, sweets all day, and you don't have a 6-pack, you ain't nobody mad about yourself. But if you eating right, exercising right, your choices align with your goals, then your life will be a sum total of the physique that you are living and that you love, right? So, have you ever looked up and said, damn, how did I get here? Or damn, I really got here. Like I really did this. Or have you looked at somebody and said, damn, I used to really be in love and really rock with this situation, and it fell out. How did we get here? Every single thing in your life is a sum total of your choices. I can't reiterate that enough. So in order to really drive that point home, I want to play a game with you. The moment you're sitting in right now as you're listening to this lesson, you hear me talk. How many choices did you make today to get you to this exact moment? And how many choices could have been different scenarios and different choices? Right? I'm gonna slow it down so I get it right. Again, thinking about your day to day. How many choices did you make to really get to this point where you are right now? Think about it. Take like 3 seconds. Second, how many of those choices could have been different choices? Like you decided to get in the car, you decided to turn on the podcast, you decided to, take time to yourself. You could have really made whole different choices today, right? All right, here's a story. I used to consider myself like a broke genius. Hella popping ideas. I'm talking about like, ideas I just create a magnificent idea that people needed, right? But one day I was always thinking like, man, but how come the money ain't lining up? How come I'm still sitting here like a struggling entrepreneur, a struggling artist, struggling creative? One day we threw a party in Brooklyn for the homie who was turning 21, right? It was like 28, something like that, in the creative community. And we threw the party, the landlord got mad. She didn't call or anything, but she was mad the next day. I get a letter, I open a letter, it says, you gotta be out of here in 2 weeks. It's wintertime, New York City, brick, ice cold. I look at my bank account and they're damn straight enough money to move anywhere. You feel me? I'm like, my mother-in-law is with us right now, with us in the house because she's visiting. And I'm looking at my lady. She wasn't mother-in-law then, she's mother-in-law now. my lady's mom looking at my bank account, looking at this letter, and it says, you gotta go. And I'm like, and she gave us 2 weeks to go. So I'm looking, yo, I gotta figure out a place to live. I'm calling places. In New York, you needed 4 times or 3 times the rent at that moment. So if rent was $2,000 in a place, you needed $6,000. Rent was $3,000 in a place, you might have needed $9,000 to move. I probably had like 2 bands in the bank, you feel me? So we couldn't move anywhere. I called one of my homies up, shout out to Birch. I said, hey bro, your family still got a apartment up damn near upstate New York? Isn't like, it was the Bronx, it wasn't upstate. And he goes, yeah, and we end up having to move to the Bronx from Brooklyn out. Now, if anybody knows about how far that is, that's like moving out of town. You feel me? You got a whole life in LA or wherever you live at, and then you move like to a different city. You feel me? Like in 2 weeks, your job is there, your community is there. And I remember looking back at myself and being like, never again will I be in a situation where I don't have the means to make it to my next step. And from that moment on, I made the choices of a good entrepreneur. I'm like, yo, I'm gonna study, I'm gonna learn, I'm gonna read, I'm gonna figure this stuff out, right? So for me, that was my crossroad moment where I had to say, yo, I'm here because of the choices I made. I decided not to choose to charge the right prices. I decided not to follow through with deals. I decided to not think about just the art and not thinking about the business. That was all my choices. So now it's my choice to do what's next, right? So let's get into this self-knowledge, right? Remember, everything we do here, we're gonna start with self-knowledge, then we get to self-work. Without the self-knowledge, the work is useless, all right? So you gotta know about yourself in order to progress yourself. And then you gotta know how to do the work to get to the next step, right? So I'm gonna just introduce some paradigms to you, some ideas to you, and from there, you hold on to these ideas and these paradigms, and you start to live your life through these matrices, all right? So, crossroad moments are the most important moments in your life. They're the moment where you're tempted to be your old self, but you have to choose to do the thing that puts you in the boots and the shoes of your new self, right? So if you say, yo, I wanna be a person who is healthy and fit, and you get to the donut shop, and you decide to walk in that door, then you chose the person that you were, and that's the person that you want to be. That was your crossroad moment, all right? Next, the gift of life is free will, aka choices. I'm gonna keep reiterating these paradigms to you and these ways of living, these ideas to you. You have to choose between your primal and your divine self at all times. Your lower self, your higher self. Somebody cut you off in traffic, you can respond from the anger. You can respond from the fucking, I want to just hit him in his mouth right now. I'm going to beat my horn till I crash into him. Or you can literally say, you know what? He must be having a bad day. I'm going to keep my peace and move forward. All right? Your divine being, when I say that, from your primal, your divine, that's abundant, purpose-led, it's fearless, it's not based on your mood, it's not it's not moody. Your personality is moody. It's like, I don't feel like it. They made me feel this way kind of day. Your divine being is like, yo, I got a mission. I'm going to keep on this path. You feel me? All right. Oh, the divine being, the divine side of yourself too also recognize oneness and recognize that all things are interdependent. So you recognize that if you cut that person back off in traffic, you are also adding to your karma. You may also cause another accident. So it really does put you in a position to think about the whole picture before you start to act. All right, those are the base levels of self-knowledge that we're gonna walk into this lesson with. Oh, the self-work. All right, so now you're trying to figure out how to spring out of a bad situation. This is where you do the work, right? I give you the instructions, you do the work. Here we go. We'll call this self-work lesson, there's a crossroad ahead. This is good. Here's what I want you to do. Step 1. What is the situation you're desiring to get out of? Think about, like, what do you want to get out of? What situation are you currently in that you're like, yeah, I gotta do differently. I gotta get this. Now listen, if you're listening to this podcast, you listen to this show, and that bad situation is sitting next to you, then you probably don't want to do this exercise out loud. You wait until that person dips, and then you do this exercise, because you're gonna get into it. Remember I told you in episode 1 of this episode, your life is a sum total of your choices. I want you to think about, in step 2, literally write it out or think through it. What are all the choices you made to be in this situation right now? Let's say you are with somebody. Let's write that theme of relationship. Let's say you are with somebody who you do not desire to be with, or you feel like you shouldn't be with. It's not beneficial to you or the other person. You need to think about, when did I decide to stay in this situation, even when it showed me that it wasn't the right situation to be in? So go back and think about all the choices you made. You met somebody at a bar. Y'all was cool for the first 2 weeks. 3rd week, that person showed you some yellow flags, but you kept moving. 2-3 months in, that person showed you some red flags, but you said to yourself, yo, I'm too far in, I'm gonna stay. A year later, you had a baby when you probably shouldn't have been having sex without a condom on, but another choice. Okay, boom. All these choices led to the situation that you're in right now. This is important to see, because when you see these situations and these choices in front of you, you start to see your own behavior patterns. And you can see, like, yo, when I'm under pressure, I make bad decisions. Yo, when I feel like somebody's depending on me, I put them first over my own well-being. And if you can begin to see your own decision-making patterns, then you can start to predict when your crossroad moments will pop up. I know when it comes to money, I have a propensity to not want to budget, not want to save, not want to put 20% away when my checks come. But because I know I'm going to enter into that crossroad moment where I can be a bad entrepreneur or a bad leader in my household, or a financially savvy one, I pre-predict me having to make a hard decision. And because I know that hard decision is coming, I can do a couple of things. I can write out, yo, when you get this check, you know what you're gonna do. But if you really want to get bossy about it, you sit there and you sit back, close your eyes, and you visualize yourself doing the thing you're supposed to do. Because you can also imprint ideas onto your brain. You can really, if you watch anything about the top athletes, from Kobe to Michael Jordan to Michael Phelps, these cats all talk about visualizing, thinking about themselves doing the thing that's going to get them to their goal. Sometimes your brain, your subconscious, does not know the difference between you imagining and you actually doing it. Think about any daydream you had about a beautiful woman or a beautiful man, or whatever the situation is. You might get aroused if that person was in front of you. Your imagination made your body move. It imprinted something onto your body. So next time you got to go into a crossroad moment, I want you to literally visualize that moment before you actually get there. All right? That's number 2 for you of the Living Good podcast. Remember, your choices will dictate your life outcomes. And if you can predict your crossroad moments, then you can predict when you have a hard time making decisions, and you can practice those good habits, those good decision-making habits before you even get there. All right. Remember, you have the power to live the life you really want to, but it will come down to you making the right choices. Peace. We'll see you in the next episode.